Well, it is official. This week was the absolute toughest week for me to make these power rankings, but I did my best and I think I am comfortable with these rankings. So let's go ahead and dive right into my power rankings for this week. Before we do, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down in the comments down below who you have on your power rankings for this week. I want to hear what you guys have to say, and I will get back to all again too. Do leave a comment, as it is awesome to interact with you guys. So starting things off here at number 10, we got the LA Rams. Yes, sir. No bias. Well, maybe bias. Let me know in the comments if there's bias. But either way, the Rams have really been getting their act together these last couple weeks. Offensively, they have been potent, putting up, let me go ahead and double check here over the last 3 weeks, their offensive output. So Los Angeles Rams, the last 3 weeks, have put up 37, 36, and 31 points respectively. Those games against the Arizona Cardinals, the Cleveland Browns, and the Baltimore Ravens. Two formidable defenses in that group, and the Cardinals, which have been no joke recently. So that is really boding well for this team, putting up about well over 100 points in the last 3 games. That is absolutely phenomenal. Defensively, they have led up 14 to the Cardinals, 19 to the Browns with Joe Flacco, who Joe Flacco is looking really good, by the way. And they put up they let up 37 against the Ravens. So this defense is coming together a little bit better. The offense is putting up a fight against the big boys. This team, if they make the playoffs, they're going to make some noise, even though they are only 6-7 right now. At number 9, we have the 9-4 Dolphins, collapsing 3 spots because, well, they got exposed last night in Monday Night Football. This team was the definition of a one-trick pony. You take Tyreek Hill out of the game, that offense goes flat. There is no diversity in the offense as to who they can get the ball to. If Tyreek Hill's out, it's only Jalen Waddle. Maybe Cedric Wilson, and Braxton Berrios, but they weren't really producing the output that was needed of them. So without Tyreek Hill, it's just the Jalen Waddle show, and teams will shut down Jalen Waddle. Whenever Tyreek Hill's in the game, they look amazing, but overall, offensively, they were flat, and defensively, they looked all right, but really, they let up 28 points to a Titans team that really isn't that great offensively. So there are some concerns on both sides of the ball for the Dolphins. Still a decent team, but there are some genuine concerns down the stretch. At number 8, we have the 8-5 CRYBABY Chiefs, down 1 spot from last week because, well, this team is just looking disastrous right now. Defensively, they are very sound. This unit is a very good defensive team. But offensively, Patrick Mahomes does not have the weapons. And then whenever calls go against him, he starts whining like a little crybaby. You want some cheese with that wine, Patty? I think you do. But either way, the Chiefs just struggling offensively, not finding their groove. Defensively, they can carry, but we saw against the Bills. I mean, they gave up 20 points to the Bills, and that was still too many points to give up for this Kansas City offense against a decent defense in Buffalo. So there are genuine concerns for Kansas City. They genuinely will likely have to play on the road in the playoffs. The AFC is likely going to go through Baltimore at this point now. At number 7, we have a team that wasn't ranked last week, shooting into the number 7 spot. Maybe I've been a little bit too bearish on them. The Denver Broncos. This team is coming back. They had a tough start to the season, but man, if they didn't turn things around, oh man, this team is looking great. They are pushing their way back into the picture, and there is a legitimate chance now, looking at the rest of the season for these teams, that the Broncos can overtake the Chiefs for the NFC West Championship for the first time in what feels like forever, because the Chiefs have ran that division at least for the better part of the last decade, if not longer. At number 6, we have the 10-3 Eagles. They are continuing to plummet on this list after taking another tough loss. It was to the Dallas Cowboys, who are a good unit, but offensively, you only put up 13 points. That is disastrous for this Philadelphia team that really has prided themselves on being an offensive juggernaut with a solid defense to boot. This team is just struggling. They have been out of groove all season, and it's not even been close. This team has been struggling. They have been struggling in the close games. They found ways to win close games, but if it's not close, they're going to get blown out bad, and it's ugly. Absolutely ugly. This team very well has a solid chance of not winning the NFC East. Yeah. I mean, this Eagles team, they win out, they win the division, but they have been shown to not really be as great at times. I can see them dropping another game or two down the stretch here. It's an easier schedule, yes, but there are going to be some teams that they're going to be facing that are going to be hungry to try to get back into the playoff picture. At number 5, we have the 9-4 Lions, down only 1 spot because the issue for the Lions has been one word: turnovers. If this team controls and wins the turnover battle or doesn't cough up the ball, they win, and they win big. If this team coughs up the ball every time you turn around, like they did in the little skate a couple weeks ago and against the Bears 2 days ago, they're going to lose, and it's not even going to look good. So that is the big problem, is that if the Lions can control the ball and they don't turn the dang thing over, they win games. Otherwise, they're going to start losing games, and it's not going to be pretty down the stretch for this team who's trying to vie for a home playoff game. At number 4, we have another team that was not ranked because, man, I was very bearish. Honestly, I looked like a fool for my comments on Joe Flacco. The Cleveland Browns, this 8-5 team, they are a defensive juggernaut. They will pound you on the defensive side of the ball, and offensively, they are looking better. Joe Flacco is reverting back to his Baltimore days, and he is looking damn good doing it. The Baltimore Joe Flacco is looking good. He is hitting the ball where he needs to get it. Yes, they had a rough start against the Rams, but that Rams defense has been pretty solid. Meanwhile, last week, they played Jacksonville and put up a whopping 31 points. That is a huge point total for an offense run by a quarterback that was supposedly washed, as I said a couple weeks ago. So really, looking at that team, the Browns are a potent team here. I don't know why I keep saying the Ravens. I think it's Joe Flacco. I never really associated Joe Flacco with any other team. But either way, the Browns are just looking very potent. And with Joe Flacco, I could see them winning a playoff game. Or 2 even. Speaking of Baltimore, at number 3, we have the Baltimore Ravens sitting at 10-3 atop the AFC, down 1 spot from last week because, well, they won, yes, but it was an ugly, ugly win. And the number 2 team really put up a very solid win for their case. So those two combined bring Baltimore down a step. But overall, this team is still potent. Offensively, they can put up 40 points a game, 30 points a game. Defensively, they can hold you to maybe about 20 or 25. That's not great, but it's going to be winning you games when your offense is putting up 30, 35 points a game. Baltimore has that ability to do it, and even without Mark Andrews, they are showing that they have the potential at tight ends. Isaiah Likely is slotting in perfectly in Mark Andrews' slot, and this team is just that next man up mentality. So we'll see how they fare the next couple weeks. It is a little concerning considering that they had a lot of rest. They played 1 game in 23 days, I believe it was, and they still almost lost to the Rams defense, which, yes, they've been getting better, but that Rams defense, let's be real. Apart from Ahkello Witherspoon and Aaron Donald, who do they got that's really a big notable name? And even Ahkello Witherspoon isn't even a big notable name, but he's having a breakout season. At number 2, we have the Dallas Cowboys up 1 spot after a convincing win over the Eagles. That was an absolutely dominant win for the Cowboys, and they needed it. They needed a big win against a good team to prove that they are legitimate, and that was what they did on Sunday night. They came out there saying, we're going to win, we're going to make our case to the world, and man, they did just that, holding the Eagles to 13 points, and that offense is cruising once again. There were some offensive concerns and defensive concerns at various points of the season, but right now, all cylinders are firing, and both of these units are looking absolutely outstanding down the stretch going into the playoffs here. At number 1, you know them, I hate them. The first team to clinch a playoff spot this season, the San Francisco 49ers. For those of you guys who are living under a rock, yes, the Niners did clinch the playoffs because the Green Bay Packers decided that they did not want to beat the New York Giants until it was too late. So the Niners have clinched a playoff spot, and this team is looking very potent on both sides of the ball. Offensively, they can run up the score. Defensively, they can shut you down. And that just goes to show this team is very resilient. They have that next man up mentality. As long as they don't get obliterated by the quarterback room, this team is a threat to anyone that faces them. The only team that I would say has a really good shot, there's only a couple teams I would say have a really good shot of beating this team in the playoffs. That would be the Cowboys, and very, very controversial here, but the Rams. The Rams own the Niners in the playoffs, whereas the Niners own the Rams in the regular season. So I could see that happening. If the Rams sneak in as a 7 seed, I could see the Niners being one and done. Potentially. Depends on how this Niners team plays. But overall, this Niners team is very good, and they are going to be very hard to stop in the playoffs. Well, that's about going to do it for me. Let's go ahead and recap the power rankings for you guys so that you guys can get a look here. At number 10, we have the Rams, 9, the Dolphins, 8, the Chiefs, 7, the Broncos, 6, the Eagles, 5, the Lions, 4, the Browns, 3, the Ravens, 2, the Cowboys, and at number 1, the San Francisco 49ers. But if you guys did like, don't forget to smash like and subscribe, as it does help me out a whole lot. It tells me that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And smash that subscribe button because, well, we've decided that Inner Yinzer is going to do a cover of Pittsburgh Steelers Here We Go when this channel hits 450 subscribers. So if you want to see that, smash that subscribe button. Speaking of Inner Yinzer, make sure you check out some of his stuff over on the channel. I'm not going to link it over here because it's not really as pertinent, but go ahead and check that out. And something more pertinent to you is the Week 14 recap down here, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already. And with that, I will see you guys later. Peace out and have a good one.